Today we're going to talk about leads and setting proper expectations for them. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I am Chad Owen, and this is Boy Wonder Boy, Caleb
Every time.
Caleb North.
Never fails.
I can't even, of course.
Caleb North.
Well, just keep being wonderful, and you'll still be Boy Wonderful.
I'll do my best.
No, Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy.
What'd you say?
I don't know what he said. Strike. Let's edit that one out and redo
funny.
it again, but not really. Let's keep going. We
All
are
right.
we don't. You know what? We are who we are.
Hey.
And we do play around and we do have a lot of fun, but we also, when it's time to get serious, it's time to get serious. It's just not that often we have to get serious.
It's just not that often.
No.
It's the beauty of doing what we do.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Running the show.
Yeah. So quit rambling. What are we talking about? You already know what we're
Setting
talking about.
proper expectations about leads. You know, and this is a podcast topic, Chad. That
But
is.
I only want leads that are ready to write as soon as I get in there, and I want to pay $5 for them.
Well, you're gonna have to generate your own.
You think that could happen?
No.
Because that's not going to happen.
But if somebody was
If I could
figured
figure out
some
this lead
way,
system, man, oh my gosh.
the point is, I've come across multiple agents recently where there seems to be a lot of frustration. There seems to be a lot of focus on the negative. And what I
That's
mean,
not lately. That's been
Well-
that's been forever.
what I mean is there seems to be this idea that somehow, some way, if they're going to spend $200, $250, $300, $350, whatever it may be on a lead, that the leads already understand annuities, what they do, how they work, that they've already considered and thought about what they want to put into the annuity, and 3, they're ready to do it when the agent goes out there or talks with them, or they have this idea that when they call, this client is just chomping at the bit to talk with them and to meet with them, and it's just not reality.
I wonder if they spent as much time complaining about the lead as did they use that same energy on their product knowledge and their sales presentation and their process and system. I think the leads would become a lot better. Mysteriously,
Well-
they'd become a lot better, because here's the reality. You can have an incredible lead and a bad agent. That's a bad lead. You can have a bad lead and an incredible agent. That's a good lead.
Yeah.
I mean, did you catch what I said?
Oh, I caught it, and I agree
I'm
100%.
gonna say it again. You can have a bad lead and be a good agent, and it's a good lead, but you can have a good lead but a bad agent, and that's a bad lead.
And I am 100% certain that I've talked with people before that I've genuinely thought, if this person were to talk with a prospect, a potential client, they would end up talking that person out of doing the annuity based on how they present themselves, present the stuff. It was weird.
Let me
but
give
it's
you an
real.
example of two inverse. They're both opposite of each other. I wasn't in market where I was writing 17 to 21 million a year in annuities. I left to come down to Texas. The person took over my exact same lead system, exactly the same, everything the same, and they wrote 2 million. So
They
needless
put
to say,
into it the same amount.
Well, it had to quickly change,
Right.
because if they're not writing that business, you can't spend $250,000, $300,000 in leads.
True.
So it quickly had to change, but they still had all my old leads that I didn't get in touch with. They still had all that too.
That's insane.
So then I came down to Austin, San Antonio, where they said it's kind of the annuity salesperson's graveyard, and a station where an agent wasn't doing. I had internet leads, I have scrub leads, and these people were writing approximately 2 to 3 million a year. The first year I got down here, I think I wrote 18 or 19 million.
Yep.
And so, then of course now 27 million. I don't know what I'm going to end up this year. It's hard to tell, because I think I'm only at 16 or 17 million this year, but I have the third quarter in front of me.
Yeah.
So me writing an average of 3 million a month for the next 3 months, that's not unrealistic. That
Right.
could easily happen.
It could happen.
I mean, I had a $5 million month in December, I think 3 years ago. And I mean, I had a $9 million month in March.
Last year.
Last year? Was that last
That was
year?
2020.
And so, I mean, you never know. And then market switching can change
Oh, yeah.
Anything at any time. So.
Yeah. Well, and we just did a podcast not that long ago. I don't remember how long. I know it was this year.
The other day.
Yeah, the other day. The other day could be yesterday or it could be 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was, I mean, within the last 3 months, we've done a podcast where we talked about why process and improving your process is better, why it actually has the incredible likelihood of increasing what?
Incredible.
It is incredibly more likely to increase your production than just buying more leads.
He's
Process
great
improvement.
at helping you sell annuities, but his grammar needs help. But he is a Texas boy. So,
I am a Texas boy.
And I just lost all of our Texas agents just now. So.
Oh, that's all right. You're a Hawaii guy. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Our Hawaii educational system, my English is gooder.
Yeah, good. Oh my gosh.
You know, bro.
Yeah. But we talked about why process improvement beats just buying more leads. And
Absolutely,
the reason that that's
100%.
the case is that leads, they don't close themselves.
No.
Frankly, insurance companies wouldn't be paying out what they pay out if selling annuities was an easy thing.
Oh, absolutely. If we could turn into just order takers, the insurance companies wouldn't need us.
No.
But the reality is the reason why we get paid what we paid, if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, is we're mitigating, we're basically eliminating that risk from the client to the insurance company by doing a thorough fact finder, by explaining how the product works, by explaining the benefits, by what they need. You know, somebody says, well, man, you get paid a lot for what you do. And I'm like, do you have any idea how many hours I spend studying products, disclosures, product brochures, applications? Yes, I read the applications. And it's making sure, really comparing product to product, company to company. That's where I earn my money. I don't earn my money when I'm in front of the client. That's a product of what I spent studying.
Yeah,
now I'm in
good.
front of the client. And so it's
good
just
mindset.
like, you know, when you do this, if you're an Olympian and you go, wow, that person did that high jump and they won the gold right there. The thousands upon thousands of hours of training is what got them to that gold medal.
Yep.
So they deserve everything they get.
Right.
And so the reason why insurance companies pay us what we do, because somebody says, well, 6%, 7%, that's really high. No, it's not.
Right.
Just
If you're
because I
doing your
sat
job
with someone in a combination of maybe 6 hours closing an annuity deal and I got paid 7% of the deal, what about the thousands of hours that I spent studying and getting better and developing new things that help people understand? I mean, my academy is full of things that I've personally developed, handouts, documents that I personally developed to help people explain annuities in a way that clients can fully understand. And so that's really what it comes down to. So a bad lead and a good agent can be a good lead. Yeah. But a good lead and a bad bad agent can be horrible.
I'll give you an example. We're working with an agent right now who has leads from 2013. So literally 8-year-old leads.
I know who you're talking about.
Some of which he has called 30 to 40 times. No contact.
Yep.
Now is having contacts, booking
and
appointments.
What, $2 million, I think, in the last year, off of stinking old dinosaur leads. You remember I talked about A, B, and C leads? These are Z leads.
8-year-old leads.
There's no. It's just these leads are like, oh my gosh, they're so old.
Right. And he's an anomaly in and of himself. The way that he calls it's. I mean,
well, here's the thing though. When you ask him why he does it, he goes, because there's someone out there that needs my help. It just means older leads, I need to take more time to find that person that does need help. I mean, if you think about it, if you have a ship that goes down and everybody gets off board and they're all in life rafts, they're going to be easy to find.
Right.
Okay? Brand new. The ship just sunk. There they are. You have one little guy that got drifted off in the middle of nowhere, and how hard is it going to be to find that one person?
A lot
more searching, a lot more grid, a lot more going back and forth. Some of these people drifted it off somewhere, and they're out in the middle of the ocean by themselves, and he just looks at, they're worth it. It's the one person. Right. It's the Jesus thing. Go after the one for the sake of the 99.
It's true.
You know, I'm not sure if I'm that person. It's like, I don't know. If I got 99 lambs and I can eat all 99 and I have one that I'm going after, that's probably the scrawny little dude that's, hasn't eaten in a while and there's not much meat on it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm like Jesus.
Anymore, they're just about more valuable for their tax exemption than they are for their meat. But
okay, let's not go into ranching stuff right now.
Yeah.
It is true, though. Every rancher I talk to, they say ranchers and farmers say, the ranchers mostly, these big Texas ranchers, they go, I do not do this to make money. I do this for the tax write-off. Mm-hmm. They say that all the time. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Huh.
This property taxes are insane.
I just thought of that, though. Well, if you do the tax exemption.
That's what I'm saying.
Wildlife. But that's interesting, though. I wonder, never mind. Just got an idea. If I own a ranch within a year, you'll know what if that idea worked.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I pay a lot in taxes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back and set some proper expectations here with regard to lead flow, answer rate, appointment percentages, and application percentages. And I want to start this off by saying, if you get 10 leads and you get 3 appointments, focus on the 3 appointments. Don't focus on the 7 leads you didn't get appointments with. And I think,
but I would take a look at what's your call process like.
Well, but I'm saying, don't spend so much of your time trying to, these 7 leads and calling the lead company. Oh, these leads are, terrible. I only booked appointments with 3.
And why doesn't the lead company want to send me leads anymore? I don't know why. Because I'm the one that's always complaining.
Yeah.
Don't be the one that's always complaining about the leads.
Yeah. And then the other thing I would encourage you with as well.
I want to say something.
Okay.
Do not be the squeaky wheel. You know how there's that saying, the squeaky wheel gets oiled?
Not in the lead world.
Not in the lead world. You squeak, you are gone.
Well, here's the thing.
They'll take you off and you'll replace you with another tire.
They've got a dozen leads or a dozen wheels behind you ready to go.
At least they're ready to go. Yeah, do not be the squeaky wheel. Some people ask, how do you have the same relationship with lead vendors for over 14 years? I'm not a squeaky wheel. I appreciate what they do, how hard it is to be in that business.
Yeah.
And they know that, and they know that I honor them by never shutting off my leads, and I do not complain. Even if one didn't even, I spent $350 and said, I already got that taken care of. I don't want to do it. And I just called you 15 minutes after the lead. How'd you already get it taken care of? I don't call the lead company and say, hey, I want a credit back. I don't.
Right.
And they know that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't
the honor is reciprocated.
Yep, it is.
It's a great relationship there.
Don't be the squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again. Don't be the squeaky wheel. That's how you build relationships with these lead companies.
That's true. Now, the challenge I think too is a lot of times, and it's natural, right? Mm-hmm. The idea and the mindset of I want to try and spend as little as possible and make as much as possible. I want to try and spend as little as I possibly can in leads and marketing and write the most amount possible. So a lot of times what happens is agents will then utilize non-scrubbed types of leads where just straight internet leads or things like that. Maybe they've been telemarketed or whatever. And it's not to knock those types of leads. It's just that you can't expect the same type of answer rate on those types of leads, right? So when we talk about expectation of the leads that you're getting in touch with, there's a very vast and wide range depending on the way that they're generated and then the follow-up process the lead company has with them afterward to determine what is a fair and reasonable expectation for the answer percentage, the number of people that actually do answer your call that you do get in touch with based on the number of leads that you get in. So to give them a little bit of context here for you, the lead companies that you're using, you generally have a 70 to 75% answer rate. So say 7 to 8 leads out of 10 you're getting in touch with at some point within that period of calling.
That may be fair. I mean, I'd definitely get in touch with more if I called more.
Sure. But you call Mondays.
Yep.
And any lead that came in on the Tuesday prior is not being called for almost an entire week later. So inevitably you have, and most of these people are meeting with multiple people. Most of these people, if they're putting in their information somewhere, they're putting it in other places. So inevitably, even if you're getting exclusive leads, there's almost always going to be somebody else out there working that same.
I mean, these people that go on the internet and they hit the website, don't think you're the only website they're going to.
Right.
At one time, I had one person hit all 5 leads.
Oh, that was expensive.
That was a $1,500 lead, and I didn't close them either. But I also had times where that's happened, where they hit 3 or 4 websites, and they all went to me, and I spent $1,200 a lead, and they bought from me. At one time, I remember they went to Excuse me. I wish we could mute these so you don't hear me coughing. I do not have corona. This is allergies, just to be clear. But so I spent about $1,200 on this lead, and they hit another website. And I said, hey, I heard you're interested again. You went to my other website. And they go, this just isn't right. I'm like, what? They go, every time I go to a website, you call me. I said, I told you I'm the top in the area. If you're going to reach out, and they go, fine. Okay, we'll just do it. Come over to my house. Let's write it. I mean, is that bad? No. I am the top.
I think it's
in
great.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's like, but what if I would have only had one of those lead sources and I complained because I didn't want 4 more getting hit, and then they went and met with 4 other agents, and if you're not on your A game, they're going back with one of the other ones.
Right.
Or what if someone, I mean, I'm not saying there's not good agents around here. We have some excellent agents around here.
Well, we're right smack in between 2 huge metropolitan areas.
Yeah, well, technically 3, because
it's true if you count
Houston, I mean, you're only looking at 2.5 hours from the outskirts of Houston.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that drive that.
3.5 hours from the outskirts of Dallas. So, I mean, you could technically say in our area right here, we may have, let's see, 3, 7... Oh, man, we could have close to 11 million people around in this between Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, and all in between. You're probably looking at 11 million people.
There you go.
At least. And
I have no idea what the populations of those cities are.
I know Houston is always towards the top. San Antonio's up there. I think San Antonio's actually in the top 10. And I know Houston always switches between Chicago and Houston. Or Detroit and Houston? I think it's Detroit.
I was going to say, it can't be Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago's huge.
Yeah. No, believe it or not. You've driven one
Seriously?
side. Think about it. You drive from the west side of Houston to the east side of Houston.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Never.
Dude.
I tried
unbelievable.
not to get down to Houston. Unless
the
I have
west
to.
The east,
Sorry if you're from
north
Houston.
To the south, it's a huge city, and they have huge buildings everywhere. It's unbelievable. But the point is we have a lot of people, a lot of agents around, and there's some really good ones. But you know what? I'm more thorough, I believe, than most of them.
Yeah,
not saying all of them, because we have some ones that are just as good. I don't know of anybody that's writing 27 million as an individual.
Sure.
But I'm not saying they're not out there. It's just I've never ran into them.
Yeah.
And so I'm very particular on the way I do my leads, and I believe every person has a shot. And I believe every person deserves my full attention. And even if they only have $10,000, I still try and say, hey, you know what? You're doing good. You know, as far as, because like this conversation I just had with someone today, they had a lot of stuff. They had medical issues. They had all this other stuff, and they're finally back up to 20,000. Sad thing, man, is he's like 56 years old. And that's going to be hard to recover from that.
Yeah.
I mean, chances of them coming up with any significant retirement in that time frame, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But the point being is I still treated that lead with honor and dignity and tried to help them, give them a little bit of advice what I could. But I do that whether they have 5 million or I do that whether they have 15,000.
Right.
Now, I don't meet, once again, if you need 50,000 emergency funds and savings, 50,000 investable amounts. And the reason why that is because if you have $50,000, I consider that emergency funds, and you shouldn't be putting in it into an annuity.
If that's all you've got, that should be,
Yeah, but I mean, if you go into any lead with that mindset of your number one thing is to help them find a problem, find a solution, then you're going to treat every lead with the way it should be, and you will do better on your leads.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, for just a minute, the responsibilities, roles and responsibilities. We have the lead company, and we've got the agent or the advisor.
And the client. Yeah.
The lead company's role and responsibility is to get you connected with people that have, at some level, regardless of how much, but at some level have expressed some kind of interest or questions or consideration or concern in the area of safe money, annuities, something along those lines. That's there, assuming we're talking annuity leads, assuming that's the way that you have it set up with the lead company. That's a very general statement. The agent's responsibility, their role, their responsibility is to book the appointment, unless they have some deal with the lead company that they're preset appointments or whatever. Their role, their responsibility is, well, I know what you're going to say, qualify. You're going to say qualify. I'm going to say, assuming they're qualified, the agent should not be under the expectation that the lead companies, they just generating
the
leads.
lead company's job is not
book.
to qualify the client.
That's what I'm
to
saying.
Find out what they need, and then it's the agent's responsibility to find out. The lead company is find out what they want. The agent is find out what they need.
That's a good point.
That's really
a good
what
way
it
to
comes
put
down
that.
to.
Yeah.
You know, they may want a 10% average over the past 15 years with no fees and a guaranteed income rider and a bonus and all that. That's not reality.
Right.
But what they need is safety and security. So, you know, that's the important side of things. Remember the role of each. That's a good way to look at that. The lead company is to find the client. The agent is to see if we can help them.
And then once that transition has happened, the agent assumes the rest of the responsibility. Mm-hmm. Okay? At that point, you can't hold your lead company liable for, well, this person didn't buy. Well, this person didn't want to, meet with me because I said so, or whatever it is. Like,
you know what I find interesting? They could say, most agents, and I'm going to say this, that have challenges with leads will go, this lead company didn't do this, and this. They will never say, you know what, I didn't do my best on that lead.
It's very rare to find somebody that says
the way
that.
I should have. I didn't go through the system and process I needed to. I didn't properly explain the product on the phone enough to where they wanted to meet with me. It's always the lead company's fault.
Yeah.
Now remember, I don't sell leads. So why am I siding with the lead company? Without the lead company, we're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a reality.
Imagine trying to do what they do.
Oh, no.
I will say, I know a handful of agents that when those types of things, if things don't pan out, they do assume something's off in their process.
Well, that's because they're in our academy.
Well, I know, but I'll tell you this. It is those agents that improve their process to the point that those things don't happen again.
Correct.
If the blame is shifted, okay, then what happens is you sign up for a new lead company, same thing happens, and they think it's that lead company. And then they sign up for a new one, and it just perpetuates the cycle.
We drove by the Austin Library downtown last week, and my daughter's pointing out the library. We're going to a pro-life thing, and we're trying to help, in long story short, Rachel was saying this is where I go to stay at this library, and I remember the time I bombed an appointment in that library with a guy who had $2 million. I bombed it.
Like it was terrible?
It was horrible.
Okay.
And it was last year. I just didn't explain the illustration right. I messed up and I knew it. And could I blame the lead for that? No, that was
Not
my
a
fault.
chance.
Yep.
Well, I always want to leave them with a quick encouragement.
You do
It's
that.
important, especially when we're, getting into these types of
You're
things.
good enough, you're smart enough, and gosh golly, people like you. Most people.
No,
Maybe some.
I wanted to encourage them to focus more and spend more time thinking about and dwelling on the opportunities you have with the people you can help than those that you maybe don't have the opportunity to. That's what I wanted to encourage them with.
And I know we went long today, but you know what? You're worth it. So, okay. And we didn't manage
And Chad
time well,
loves you.
Yes, I do. Don't you? Okay.
I do, of course. I thought that was a given.
Yeah. Okay. Happy selling.